जय श्री माता जी। हम सब श्री माता जी को नतमस्तक होकर प्रणाम करेंगे और बंधन लेंगे। We will all bow down to Shri Mataji and take bandhan. Mahamantras and Shri Ganesh Mantra. अब हम संतुलन करेंगे। We will do balancing now. बायां हाथ श्री माता जी की ओर दाहिना हाथ पृथ्वी माता पर रखना है. लेफ्ट हैंड टुवर्ड्स श्री माता जी. राइट हैंड ऑन मदर अर्थ. प्रार्थना करेंगे, श्री माता जी, हमारी इड़ा नाड़ी को कृपा करके स्वच्छ और निर्मल कीजिए. श्री माता जी, प्लीज क्लींस our left channel. दाहिना हाथ श्री माता जी की ओर. बायां हाथ आकाश की ओर. राइट हैंड टुवर्ड्स श्री माता जी. लेफ्ट हैंड टुवर्ड्स स्काई. यहाँ पर प्रार्थना करेंगे, श्री माता जी, आप कृपा करके हमारी पिंगला नाड़ी को स्वच्छ और निर्मल कीजिए. श्री माता जी, प्लीज क्लींस our राइट चैनल. दोनों हाथ श्री माता जी की ओर. both the hands towards श्री माता जी. Slowly we'll take our attention from Muladhara to Sahasrara. धीरे धीरे हम हमारा चित्त मूलाधार से सहस्रार की ओर ले जाएंगे. हमारा चित्त हम सहस्रार पर स्थित करेंगे. We will keep our attention on Sahasrara. इसी अवस्था में श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी सुनेंगे. In same state, we'll listen to Shri Mataji's talk.
आपको हिंदी में बताएं कि हमारी एक पहचान के आए थे, उनकी बीवी बहुत सीधी सादी थी बेचारी. तो लंदन आई तो उन्होंने देखा सबकी आंखें ऐसे 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 चल रहे थे। तो उनका ये क्या हो रहा है? तो मैंने कहा कि इसको फ्लर्टिंग कहते हैं। कहले ये क्यों करते हैं लोग? तो मैंने कहा वो ऐसा करते रहते हैं ऐसा। अब मैंने क्या कहूँ क्यों करते हैं, मुझे क्या पता क्यों करते हैं। तो मैंने कहा ऐसे करते रहते हैं, वो इसकी बीवी उसको पसंद करती है, उसका हस्बैंड उसको पसंद करता, तो ऐसे चलते रहता है। शादी के बाद ऐसे चलता रहता? मैंने कहा ऐसे ही चलता मरते दम तक। तो वो काफ़ी हैरान हो गया ना, भाई लेकिन मेरी समझ नहीं आया, अपनी चीज़ अपनी है, दूसरे की चीज़ दूसरी, उसमें मज़ा क्या है? उनका ये इनसे पूछिए। और एक नहीं सभी ऐसे, अपने हिंदुस्तानी भी जाकर वहाँ ऐसे, यहाँ दिल्ली में यह हाल बहुत खराब। पंजाबियों में तो खास चीज़ होती है, महाराष्ट्र में नहीं है बात ज़रूर। पंजाबियों में तो जब तक हर औरत को मुड़ के ना देख लें, जब तक उनकी गर्दन न टूट जाए, वो गर्दन नहीं छोड़ने वाले। यह तो खास चीज़ है। मैंने तो ये दिल्ली में जब मेरी शादी हुई तब मैंने देखा, लाहौर में पढ़ती तो वहाँ तो और भी कमाल था। लेकिन ये चीज़ इसलिए आई है कि पर्दा सिस्टम आ गई, और पर्दा सिस्टम में लोगों में क्यूरियोसिटी औरतों के लिए हो गई। अब पर्दा भी उठा दिया तो भी वैसे चल, माँ बहन नाम की चीज़ बहुत कम है। और इसलिए क्राइस्ट ने कहा Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. But this was all said as an order by Christ. Of course, nobody obeyed it. On the contrary, like I told you, the Muslims, where it was said not to drink, they started having poems written by Umar Khayyam to challenge Muhammad Sallallahu. But among Christians, they started challenging Christ, all antichrist activities by which innocence of people should be destroyed, by which their eyes will be destroyed, and all the purity of mind will be destroyed. And another extreme started, which was not at all preached by Christ. I don't know how it came into the Christian religion. Is a thing called nunnery and making people brahmacharinis and brahmacharis. You cannot make anyone brahmachari or brahmachari. It's a state, avastha, where a person has to rise, like Yogeshwara, like Sri Krishna. Despite all that, he was a brahmachari. It's a state of mind where you are not involved. It's a different thing than to just load somebody with an idea that you should become absolutely a brahmachari or a brahmacharini, or you should lead a celibate life, forcing them. Christ never said so. He could not become a married man because he was here on this earth to do one great job, is to make this ascent through this Agya Chakra. That's why he was crucified. By doing this, he was to create a space in the Agya Chakra, and that's what he did at the command of his father and his mother. And he did it. So the people who are doing all this nonsense of celibacy, and which is not, because from the mind there is no celibacy. Celibacy must come from within, the purity must come from within. And that has created problem in Catholicism. And also they started another big stuff like going and confessing to the priest. Now this is also another funny thing, is to go to a priest. Priest is never a realized soul, I've seen it, because if he's a realized soul, he'll run away from priesthood. So they would go and confess it to the priest, and the poor priest would become mad, and the confessor would have a left Vishuddhi feeling the guilt. That was the wrong side of absolutely God. To feel guilty is not necessary. Then after Christ, there were people who would not accept Christ, like Jews. So they said that we will not accept Christ and we must suffer because we must suffer for God. Even now Christians believe nonsensically that we should suffer. Now I would say Indians also believe that we have to suffer. But they also knew Mahavishnu is going to come, and when he comes, he will have power to suck our karmas and we don't have to suffer. Actually that's what happens. When Christ is awakened within you, he sucks your karmas, he sucks your ego and superego. He sucks your karmas, your papas, your conditioning, and that's how you become free. This is a very important point which people must know. That was the great job he did, was to establish himself at the Agya Chakra to suck these two things. And when they suck these two, when he sucks these, then we are above our karmas, our sins and our papas. So we don't have to worry about sins, papas and all that. But these people, we should say those who came to this earth as missionaries who came down to India to preach Christianity, had no idea of Mahavishnu, nor they had any idea of Christ. They came with a gun in one hand and a Bible in the other. And we stupid Indians also didn't know any value of our heritage, and we just said, all right, let's become Christians so that they give us good jobs. And that's how all the job-oriented, all sorts of people became Christian. But actually, they should have told that Mahavishnu is born. If they had read anything of Devi Bhagavad and had told that Mahavishnu is born, then people would have given up this idea that you have to suffer for your karmas. So Indians are still thinking that we have to still suffer for our karmas. We should fast, we should walk, and we should hang ourselves by the nearest tree all the time. This is not needed. What you have to do is to just wait for the moment when the Agya Chakra will be opened, keep in the center, as Buddha has said, keep in the center. And then when the Kundalini rises, all this, whatever is accumulated, will be sucked in and you can get your moksha. This was a simple thing to be done. Instead of that, we Indians believe we must suffer, we must go into fast. Now in Sahaja Yoga, you are not allowed to fast in the name of God. You may fast otherwise, because if you have no money, you can fast. You have to fast in any case. But not in the name of God or your karmas. Then secondly, the Jews refused to accept Christ. As a result, the Jews said that we are not going to accept Christ, we have to suffer. So alright, they suffered and suffered and suffered. So they got Mr. Hitler to put them right, their sufferings. After getting Mr. Hitler, now they are becoming Hitlers. So you can imagine how wrong ideas can take you to such a limit that as a result of this thing that we have to suffer, that Hitler was born to support their wishes that they must suffer. Nobody has to suffer anymore now. You have to work out your Kundalini awakening, and you have to establish yourself very well in Sahaja Yoga. All your sufferings are going to be taken away. One of the names of the Devi is Papa Vimochini. She removes all your papas. Sankata Vimochana, we call it, Sri Ganesha. He is the one who removes all the hurdles of life. And you really, when blessed, you can see that God has so many ways of blessing the people. It is miraculous. Absolutely, it is a miracle. So many people who are in Sahaja Yoga now say that miracle has lost its meaning in Sahaja. It is a fact. So, one has to understand that God exists. Not only He exists, He acts, He loves, and that we are supposed to know Him. Whatever you may have done, whatever may be the mistakes, you have to become one with God, because He is your loving Father. He is the Father who is the ocean of love. And only thing you have to do is to just ask for it. When the Kundalini rises, you become one with Him, and He wants to bestow all His kingdom, all His powers upon His children whom He has created. So all these funny ideas about religion, that you have to suffer, that you must do penance, that you should become brahmacharis, all these absurd ideas should be given up. You have to be absolutely a normal, happy person. God has done so much for you. He has created so much for you. But even if you want to be miserable, what can one do? as far as mother is concerned, if you want to punish your mother sometimes or say you want to just make her unhappy, then you say, otherwise I will not eat my food. So fasting is not allowed in Sahaja Yoga. But if you have to fast for food or anything, it's alright. But otherwise there is no need to fast except for 1 or 2 days you have to fast. And thus we understand that Agya Chakra, which is the most important door through which everybody has to pass. Everybody has to fast. And that has to be properly worshipped and kept clean. For that, you must keep your attention very clean. Your attention has to be clean. If your attention is soiled, then your Agya Chakra will not be alright. Then you will have hallucinations, you will have wrong ideas, and you will think of wrong things. So if you really want to find the meaning of your being, if you really want awakening of the Kundalini, then know that whatever you have known so far about God or everything has to be revised, has to be again seen for yourself what it is like. Unless and until you pass through this, you cannot be baptized. The people who talk of baptism, like John the Baptist, he was really a realized soul. And when he raised the Kundalini and put the water on the head, he really gave them realization. That is baptism. Christian means a baptized person, but not any Dick, Tom and Harry can put his hand on your head and say you are realized. On the contrary, William Blake says, the priest cursed on my head. It's true, for a realized soul, if you put the hand of a priest who is not a realized soul and who is not properly entitled to do it, children get into problems. We have seen many children who are realized souls who got into problems. Their eyes become squinty, they become funny, their brains went off, and we had to cure them. So it's a very dangerous thing to make everyone put their hands on this pulsating fontanelle bone area, which we call as talu. Talu is the Brahmarandra and is the most important part of a human being. So everybody should be very careful before they touch them. You have to be a realized soul and you have to know how to do it. Means you have to be a Sahaja. So for your children, when they are born, you have to be careful. If they are realized soul, more so. Because if they are non-realized soul, then their reaction is not so violent. But if they are realized souls, they scream and shout and they can't bear it. So one must understand, though it looks like very traditional or anything like that, one must see that those things which are harmful to human beings must be given up. The time has come for all of us to give up those things which are not good for our health, which are not good for our spiritual being. The time has come. If you do not accept this, then only thing I can say as a mother that I am concerned about. But it's much more than that. It's a dangerous time you are in. And Agya Chakra, if it is spoiled at the back, that means you are definitely possessed. At the back, if the Agya Chakra is got, then one develops blindness with the eyes open. Now in India it's very common. The reason is we have very funny ideas about the Devi or the God coming into the body of human beings. How can that be? It's again same thing, supraconscious business. A maid servant who is all the time using bad words, who has no sense of cleanliness, who has no sense of holiness, suddenly becomes agitated. She goes on. And all the women, in Maharashtra is very common, they will go and fall at her feet. The Devi has come, the Devi has come. And now they fall at her feet. And then ultimately they are caught up because they get the possession by a spirit. We had one very bad case recently where a man, he came to me and he told me that he can't help, he has to touch the feet of his sister-in-law because she is a Devi. I said, why? Because she gets into this agitation. So I told that if you think that she is a Devi and if you want to touch her feet, you don't come to me again. But he became blind, absolutely blind. And when he became absolutely blind, then he came to me. And then we had to put the Agya Chakra, alright. Now how do you do it in Sahaja Yoga? As you have the photograph, you may use it. put a light before the photograph. Light is the way you cure your Agya Chakra always. Light or the sun, because Christ resides in the sun. So what do is to put a light in front, take another light behind and give an arti to your Agya Chakra at the back. It is decided by Maha Ganapati and Mahabhairava. So you just give it a arti and Agya Chakra will open. But how do you open this? Very simple thing is that any thought comes to you, you should say, I forgive. This is the greatest weapon Christ has given us. You just say, I forgive, and you can overcome your ego. This is the mantra for this chakra in front, where you just say, I forgive, and you will find your Agya Chakra will open out, and you will find your ego will go. Forgiveness is one of the biggest weapons human beings have got. But they are so stupid if I tell them, forgive. Now, what is there not to forgive? Because it's very difficult to forgive. I say, what is so difficult? What are you doing? Are you doing something when you are saying, I am forgiving? Do you do something? Nothing. On the contrary, when you do not forgive, then what is happening is the person whom you do not forgive is actually torturing you, while you are not torturing that person. So this is the mantra of the Agya Chakra in front, and at the back, as I told you, you have to move the lights. Now somebody will say, one day they will do, 2 days they will do. That's now the Sahaja Yoga is not to be worked out. You have to really go all out to do it. And I have seen people who had eyes which were all bent like this. They could never raise their eyes, or now have open eyes, proper eyes with this working. It's very simple to be done. There's one more thing that happens to our eyes. When the Swadhisthana Chakra goes out of order, it is represented here at the back, which is around this back Agya. So when you have diabetes or anything like that, people start becoming blind, because this Swadhisthana Chakra, which is around, goes on pressing it, and that's how that part which is surrounding this center oppresses and augments that center, so that the eyes cannot see. There's no light, there's darkness, and people have eyes open. You have seen many diabetic people get this blindness. So first of all, cure your diabetes through curing your Swadhisthana, and also you can use a ice around your Swadhisthana at the back. But first of all, if you improve your Swadhisthana, you will feel very much better. So the treatment of the front side is with the light, and the treatment of the back is with the water. But best is also to use the light or the water, whichever way you like, because if it is Swadhisthana, you have to use the water, but if it is just the possession, then you have to use, without diabetes, if it is a possession, then you have to just use the light. That's how we cure our Agya Chakra. When Christ said, I am the light, I am the path, because He's Omkara, He's the path. And He's the door, He's the gate. And everybody will have to pass through His gate. He never told lies, but they crucified Him. They just crucified Him. One thing good we are fortunate in this country. We don't have any organized religion. Thank your stars for that. If you had any organized religion, you could never have taken to Sahaja. Because according to organized religion, you have to believe in one person, and as if he has no connection with anyone. He's a lone person hanging in the air. He has nothing to do with anybody else. So thank God for that it has not happened in this country, and that's how we have people who are more suited for Sahaja Yoga than we have in any other country, because they are so conditioned. And it's a very great blessing. For example, now Sainath, who was the last incarnation of the Guru principle, he was a Muslim. But all his disciples are Hindus. They are not Muslims. Muslims don't accept him even as God. Not only that, but there's one place called Haji Malang, where a saint died who was a Muslim. But he told that only the Brahmins, means the realized souls, must worship me. And so they had to appoint some Brahmins, which they did not understand the word Brahmins. They are Hindus who are worshipping a Muslim peer. So the idea that once you become the peer, once you become a realized soul, then he has no religion. He is beyond religion, he becomes the religion. Then there is no bounding for him because a drop has gone to the ocean. Now he has become the ocean. So for the ocean, there is no limitation. And because he has crossed his limitation, he is above all these things. And that's what we believe in, that if he's a peer, if he's a realized soul, then he's a realized soul. Once I went to a small village called Miyakitaka. And as soon as I stepped into the village, I felt tremendous vibrations. And I said, who was the great saint who lived here? So they said there was one Muslim peer. I said, whatever it is, he was a saint. And when I was sitting and giving lecture, you will see the photographs. The light came on my head 7 times. And the 7th time then I put my hand like this. But nobody saw it, only I knew. And I knew that it was there, I was laughing with it. And then the people, see, when they took the photograph, they could picture it. So these realized souls are all over and they are helping. They never enter into any body, they never trouble you, they guide you to the proper lines. They bring you, they are angels and they help you to come to the right path, to the right conclusions. And they never try to possess you, they never try to hypnotize you or take you to wrong side of life. So when you are realized also, you must know that you have to know completely what is the reality. Go on understanding it, trying to assimilate it, not to discard it because you are attached to something, you are attached to another organization. There is no organization in Sahaja Yoga, you know very well. There is no grouping in Sahaja Yoga, there is no membership in Sahaja Yoga. But it's a living organization. It's a living organization. So anything happens here, the whole body knows. Anything happens there, the whole body knows. We don't have to have organization written for this body. In the same way, Sahaja Yoga works out, but still I must say, as we have in our body, different type of sensory systems. We too have in Sahaja Yoga people who just come in, just the beginners. They are not exposed to the truths which they cannot bear. Then if they pass a certain line of understanding, then they are taken, as they say, nirvichara samadhi people who are given certain facilities to enter into certain new dimensions and ideas. But the inner circle people are the ones who are in nirvikalpa. Such people are only taken into consideration for teaching Sahaja Yoga. Anybody who tries to teach Sahaja Yoga, talk about Sahaja Yoga, at the second stage, just is thrown away. Because there's a centrifugal and a centripetal, both the forces working. By one you come in and by another you are thrown like a tangent. Nobody is anxious to have a very big group or anything. If it is big, well and good, one wants to save as many as possible. But nobody is going to force you, nobody is going to have any cheap sort of a circus for it. It is the desire of the people who want to come in. It is the wish of the people, those who have to come. You cannot force them. You cannot force a person to get their realization. So this is what it is today at the Agya Chakra. I have told you, Agya Chakra I have spoken many a times in England and in America. And I was very much sometimes opposed by some churches and things. But I think if they want to exist any longer, they better take to truth and know that what they knew so far is incomplete. They have to know the full of it, because Christ couldn't talk much and whatever he said was written down by his disciples the way they understood. To understand Christ, you have to have your realization. May God bless you.
इसी अवस्था में हम थोड़ी देर ध्यान में रहेंगे. Let us meditate for a while. श्री माता जी, आज के इस ध्यान की स्थिति के लिए आपको कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। श्री माता जी, thank you for blessing us with thoughtless state. हम सब श्री माता जी को नतमस्तक होकर प्रणाम करेंगे और बंधन लेंगे। We will all bow down to Shri Mata ji and take बंधन। जय श्री माता जी।